Okay, hello everyone and welcome to today's event. I'm Jason Gumpert from msdynamicspro.com and we are here for a session all about Dynamics CRM, Office 365, and the future of email. I'm joined by two leaders from PowerObjects, an HCL company. They are Alex Fergundez and Cecily Norgard. It's great to have them with us. And as we get started, I just want to note a couple of things. Please know that you can add your feedback and ask questions during the event using the Q&A block you should see to the right of the main presentation window. And you'll also see a media viewer block on the right that has a very short contact form. That is only there so that if you want to request a personal demonstration or a follow-up meeting to today's event, you can just do that easily. You can fill out the questions there, and a representative from PowerObjects will be happy to follow up after this event. We also have some poll questions that we're going to be asking you during the event to keep it a little bit more interactive, so please be on the lookout for those as well. And without further delay, I am pleased to welcome Cecily to begin the event.
Thank you very much, Jason. So today we are going to be talking about Office 365, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and the future of email. So Jason, if you could help us start the poll, please. We would like to know how many people on this call are already using Office 365. Chances are a lot of businesses do use it. Chances are that if you don't know what it is, you may not be using it.
And that will be up in just a moment here.
Thank you. So the poll should display there on the right-hand side. So if you could just let us and the other attendees know, do you already use Office 365 or do you not?
And this is a pretty easy one, so we'll just close this out in about 5 more seconds.
Perfect. All right. So
and it will be a few seconds before the results come up.
Yep, perfect. So while we're waiting for those, just tell you a little bit about, oh, here we are. So it looks like some using, some not using, and some not answered. So it looks like the majority of people are using Office 365, which is great. It really is a powerful platform. And some of us are not using it, so that's probably why you're here today, to learn a little bit more about it. Next question, please, Jason. So the next question is going to be, what version of Dynamics CRM do you currently use? So maybe you don't use Dynamics CRM, maybe you don't use Microsoft Dynamics, but actually a different CRM system, or maybe you're hosting your own CRM system on your own servers, which would be considered on-premise. In that case, we would like to know if you have 2016, 2015, or maybe an older version of CRM, or if you are using Microsoft Dynamics CRM online already. So we'll give you just a couple of seconds here to answer that question, and if you're not sure, you can select your best guess.
And also feel free to enter any comments into the chat. Like one person noted from the previous question, Cecily, that they're using Exchange online, but maybe not full Office 365.
Oh, sure. Perfect. Yes, there are definitely lots of different components of Office 365. So you may be using one of those components or many. So it looks like a number of people don't have Microsoft Dynamics. Some have a different Dynamics CRM system, some on-prem, a large majority online, so that's good to see. Definitely moving towards a cloud structure as a society. Great. So the agenda for today, just so you know kind of the direction that we're going in, we'll do a quick introduction on PowerObjects and who we are, just so you understand that piece. We'll be doing an overview of Office 365, talk about some different licensing options there. Then we'll jump into more of a deep dive in CRM for Outlook, the client, versus the CRM app for Outlook. So two different pieces of functionality there that we'll cover. Then we'll talk about the future of email and Serverside Sync. And as you go through here, if you have any questions, please feel free to type those in the question panel, and we'll get to those as soon as we see them. So your speakers for today, my name is Cecily Norgard. As Jason said in his introduction, I manage the Microsoft Cloud program by PowerObjects here at PowerObjects. So I really manage the licensing that we resell for Microsoft Online, so very familiar with that piece. And I'll let our CIO, Alex Fagundes, introduce himself.
Good afternoon, everybody. Alex Fagundes with PowerObjects, and I do CRM. I've been doing CRM for the past decade. I've been a CRM MVP for 5 years, and my areas of focus are typically architecture, the harder to design systems, the big systems, but I like architecture and CRM.
Great, thanks, Alex.
So a bit about PowerObjects, and I'm going to keep this pretty high level since it is a webinar about Office 365, CRM, and the future of email. But PowerObjects, an HCL company, who are we? We are a company based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, owned by HCL, so part of HCL. We are HCL's CRM arm, and we focus on 4 things around CRM and Office 365. Services, support, we have a pretty large help desk, second only to Microsoft. Education, we have a pretty big training department offering all kinds of classes, both live classes, boot camps, webinars, some paid, some free. And add-ons, we just broke 30 add-ons to Microsoft CRM. These are available in our websites or in Microsoft's new App Source websites. So you can literally point, click, log in, deploy our add-ons. Very, very easy to install in your CRM. They all have a full 30-day trial. So this PowerObjects, we've been around for quite a while. Over the last 4 years, we have won 3 out of the 4 CRM Partners of the Year awards. So we do CRM, we do pretty well. Our customers like us quite a bit. They see quite a bit of ROI from PowerObjects. And if you guys want more information, go ahead and let us know. So we'll now go back to what you guys came here for, learn more about Office 365 and CRM. So Cecily.
All right, so the main event. What is Office 365? So if you are currently using Office 365, chances are that you already know what it is. You've hopefully heard of it at least as a buzzword on the internet. I know when I first heard about it, I thought the same thing. What is it? So Office 365 refers to subscription plans that include access to different Office 365 applications such as Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, but also some cloud applications like Skype for Business, Exchange Online, Yammer, Microsoft Dynamics CRM is one of those. So Office 365 is really the cloud hub and that holds those subscriptions. And you can pull those down from anywhere. So that's the power really of being in the cloud. So I already mentioned a couple of things that could be included in Office 365, and the great thing about these different subscriptions is that you can mix and match so that you only get what you need. So you have things like Dynamics CRM, mobile device management, Skype for Business, Yammer, many different things, and most of them have to do with business. So you also have Office 365 for home, which we're going to leave on the side for today, but we're going to talk mostly about Office 365 for business. So the Microsoft Suite we're all familiar with. Exchange Online is your email, for those that don't know, that actually powers your email. OneDrive for Business is a place to store documents and files on your own OneDrive, so your own little storage hub, and then you can share those individually. So for example, the presentation that we're looking at today, I actually saved that in my OneDrive and shared it with Alex, and we could both edit that document together. So another powerful thing about Office 365 is the collaboration piece that you get. Then you have SharePoint Online, another example of an Office 365 subscription, and that is your hub that you can upload items as a company. So that's really the place that you hold things like templates, important documents. You can connect all of these pieces together in Office 365 so that you can, for example, use SharePoint Online within your Dynamics CRM to hold documents that are relevant to specific customers. That's one example there. Yammer is what I like to refer to as the company Facebook page. So it's where you can upload and collaborate for different things in your company. So you can have discussions there that are relevant to internal pieces. You could post things about company events or questions you have. For example, we use ours to collaborate together and communicate about Dynamics CRM. So things like new features coming up are posted there. If there's any webinars that are relevant to Dynamics CRM, they're posted there. So it's a really great place to collaborate. Skype for Business, which was purchased by Microsoft, I believe, within the last year, so relatively new to the Office 365 suite. Skype for Business is a place that you can use to chat. You can conference using Skype for Business, and you can even replace your phone line with a Skype for Business line, and so on and so forth. So lots of different pieces included there. Benefits of using Office 365, there's definitely many, some of which I've already touched on a little bit. So collaborating with teams is one of the benefits of using Office 365. You can actually create groups in Office 365 for different projects that you're doing, so you can automatically share files in there using team collaboration. As you're changing them, your colleagues are seeing those changes. That's really powerful. It's one place to manage all of your users and your licenses, so a very easy place for administrators to look at different licenses, who is assigned what, manage their mobile devices. So one place for managers to manage all of that. It's intuitive and user-friendly. It's one big hub where you access essentially everything for business. So it has different tiles that you can go through as you're working through your day, and it's all integrated together in one place. One thing I already mentioned is that you can access everything from anywhere. So let's say you're working on a presentation at work, then you step out of work, get into your cab, you can work on that presentation on your phone, that same file. You can close it there and work on it from your home machine. So you can access that same file from multiple different places. And again, sharing is another big piece of that. So collaborating together, you have all your business applications in one place, it's a secure place to store your files, and it's really user-friendly. Those are kind of the main benefits of Office 365. And of course, it's in the cloud. So without overwhelming you too much, I know this slide has a lot to offer, but here's kind of your plan comparison of Office 365 plans that are available in the marketplace today. So you can see the features there on the left-hand side, and then the plan name on the upper column or the upper row there. So important things to note here, important considerations. Do you need email for the user that you're assigning the license to? Do you need things like OneDrive? Do you want to include SharePoint? Do you need Yammer, Skype for Business? So those are all things that you want to consider when you're purchasing your Office 365 licenses. The other item that you'd like to know is probably you can purchase different licenses for different users. So a lot of these can be mixed and matched in any different way. Most of them don't have a minimum or a maximum number of licenses you have to buy. So really think about what your users need. So again, some considerations when choosing a license. Do you need things like Skype for Business? Do you need things like OneDrive? Do you want to be able to install your Office suite, or do you only need it available in an online version? Would you like to include email with your license? That's another thing to consider. Do you need everything that's incorporated in that plan? So really take a look at what's included in the plan you're considering purchasing and look at if you need all of those features. If you don't, a lot of the features that are available like Skype for Business and SharePoint, those are available as add-on licenses to a more basic Office 365 license. So you can really build only in what you need. You can build your own license for the users that you have. And last but not least, you have a Microsoft partner supporting you. I believe that that's a very important piece of the puzzle because you have, unless you have somebody in your office that knows Office 365 and knows all the different components, you can lean on a partner, or you would want a partner to have that relationship with that can support you in all of your different needs from a day-to-day basis, whether that's training, whether that's migrating email mailboxes, whether that's just day-to-day troubleshooting or support. It's great to have a partner that knows you, knows your business, and that you have that great relationship with. So I'm going to look at the question panel here to make sure we don't have any questions. So it looks like, nope, I think we're good here on questions. So without further ado then, I will pass it off to Alex.
All right, all right. So now a little bit more of the technical stuff and more on, CRM and Outlook / Exchange. So with Office 365 CRM Exchange, we're beginning to get a lot of synergies between the apps. And one of the new apps or the new modules that has come up, has been released a couple years ago, is the CRM App for Outlook. This is a very lightweight application that lives inside Outlook or in your web access, so literally in a browser. It's a very lightweight app, and it gives an end user using email access to key pieces of information in CRM, and also the ability to quickly create a contact, a lead, etc. So what exactly is this? CRM App for Outlook is a very lightweight client. It does not require an individual installation. In fact, an admin does the installation and picks who should have the app and who should not. It is the evolution of the old, what I like to call legacy, Outlook CRM plugin. So two very different apps. We have the Outlook CRM plugin, which is the legacy app, has been around for a long, long time. And the new CRM app for Outlook, a newer, much lighter weight client, fast, doesn't crash nearly as often as the old Outlook CRM plugin. It is the way things are heading. It is the future. Right now it doesn't have all the features on the legacy CRM Outlook plugin, but it's getting there. So what does it look like? It lives inside Outlook. Now inside either Outlook or OWA, the Outlook Web Access. That is accessing your email via the web, via Office 365's interface. This is a screenshot of it. To an end user, looks like it's your email. But with one click, once it's enabled, I can simply click on Dynamics CRM and at a glance, look at key pieces of information related to that contact, to that email address. It's what is the account in our CRM system? What are the most recent activities related to this contact, related to this account? What are the recent cases for this contact or account? Any recent opportunities? The goal being, if I'm exchanging emails with somebody and at a glance, with one click, I want to get the high-level picture of who this individual is, what is the latest in our CRM system. I can single-click on the underlying Dynamics CRM. In less than a second, the information loads. I can also choose to then track the email in CRM. If it's business-related, single-click, track in CRM. Or track in CRM and then pick what is related to. Is it related to a lead? Is it related to a contact? Do I need to create a new lead from that email? So click Track in CRM, create a new lead. I'll then get a quick form for first name, last name, topic, etc. It's very easy to use, very intuitive. Literally takes very, very little training compared to the old app. And later on, I have a screenshot from within Outlook, and it looks the same UI. So benefits, it allows us to track an email in CRM, to create records in CRM, and to view the recent interactions. Setup is all done by the administrator. The end user requires pretty much no setup. It's either going to be enabled or not. The user has to log in. That's their only action. Log in once, credentials are now stored. If their password changes, they have to re-authenticate. It is all browser-based. It's an HTML web app, so it's fast. It's not a thick client, and it can be used anywhere. So what do you need for this? You do need to have the full feature of the Outlook Web Access. You do need Outlook 2016. And you also need a modern browser, either IE11, Edge, the latest and greatest Firefox, Chrome. If you have the old version of Outlook, Outlook 2013, you can still use the CRM app for Outlook, but it's going to be in what is called read-only mode. You can't create any records. You can't track an email in CRM. You can only view data. So we highly recommend Outlook 2016 to be current to use the CRM app for Outlook. A couple more prerequisites. You do need, you used to need CRM Online with CRM 2016 on-premises. That's now supported. So CRM 2016 on-premises or CRM Online. You do need Exchange Online. So the CRM web app for Outlook is not supported with Exchange on premises. So it has to be in the cloud in Office 365. You also must be using server-side synchronization, which is our recommendation. Our last third of this presentation is about server-side synchronization. So we do recommend it. This is a requirement for the Outlook web app. And not only must you be using a server-side synchronization, but you must have a set to synchronize appointments, contacts, and tasks via server-side synchronization. And then we also have a new role privilege specific for the CRM app for Outlook. So it is either an on or off, but it is a right that end users need to be able to use the Outlook CRM app. And then last is the administrator must select who can use this. And later on, we'll have a screenshot of that. It's literally a couple clicks. So in Outlook, this is what it looks like. The first time a user goes into Outlook, the setup does take maybe 15 seconds. That's the initial setup when you first log into the CRM app for Outlook. But once it's authenticated, you download the metadata, it's quick. It's literally less than a second to load screens. Setting it up, so this is for an administrator. How do we roll out the CRM app for Outlook? We do have to go into the settings, email configuration. We then have to set up Serverside Sync. Now, if you have CRM Online, Exchange Online, it's pretty much done for us. We simply have to enable it. The profile will be set up automatically for us. And then you have to pick and choose who should have the CRM app for Outlook. And this is, again, in Settings, CRM app for Outlook. Now we have a choice. Either we add the individual users who should have the CRM app for Outlook deployed, or we can check the checkbox, automatically add the app for Outlook for all users. So kind of our two choices, add one button, or check the checkbox, save, that's now deployed for everybody. Most of our clients do the checkbox, deploy for everybody. We have very few that pick and choose who should have it. Once you deploy it, you can actually see the status real time. Is it a pending deployment? Is it now available in Outlook? And even though it's saying in Outlook, it's both the Outlook the client and the web access via the web interface. Depending on how many users, this can take up to a couple hours. We're not quite sure exactly why, but at initial deployments, does take a little bit. We've had tickets in our help desk from clients saying, hey, I can deploy the web app. It's not doing anything. We come back a couple hours later, and it's now deployed. It'll say pending right away, but between pending and deployment, it does take a bit. And then last but not least, there is a new right we have to enable in a security role for the users. This is literally use CRM app for Outlook. It's either on or off. But if you have an existing system, maybe you created your own roles, or have start with CRM 2011 and then 2013 and so on, it is something you do have to adjust in your security roles. If you roll out the CRM app for Outlook, but don't enable this privilege, users will get an error. It's kind of a confusing error. It's nothing very, hey, you're missing a right. It's a generic error behind the scenes. About once every 2 months, maybe even once a month, our help desk does get a ticket. Hey, we are trying to roll out the CRM app's not working. This is the first thing we now check. Are users missing this privilege? So a couple more things. The app does display some information, the recent activities, the recent cases, the recent opportunities. This is currently not configurable. We think it's going to be changing in the future. In fact, there is a new version of CRM that's going to be rolling out this fall. A lot of the content is still under NDA, so we can't discuss what's coming, but there are enhancements and new features to the CRM app for Outlook. Some features that a lot of folks have asked for to be kind of neat. And if you guys have not signed up for the Airlift, there's a chance it might still be open. So if you're a partner, if you do CRM consulting, you may still be able to sign up for the Airlift to get your hands in the preview version of the fall release, including knowing about the new features for this app. So the other thing you can do is create records on the fly. An email comes in, hey, it's CRM related, tracking CRM. Now I can create a contact, or create a lead, or create an account. All point and click, all pretty easy to use. You don't need a manual to know, where do I have to click. It's very intuitive. And for creating records, we currently have a choice of an account, contacts, lead, or a case. This is set in stone behind the scenes. We cannot, create a new type. But it does allow us to search for record type or create that particular record. And if I create a record, let's say a contact, the system behind the scenes, based on an email address, it will search for potentially related accounts. Or I can click on the new, in this case, to create a new account. So I'm both creating a contact and an account from Outlook, from OWA. But to an end user, it looks like I'm still in the same app, I haven't left. Again, very intuitive. The goal is to make it easy to populate data in the CRM system to get a glimpse of what are the most recent interactions with this individual, the cases, the activities, the opportunities that might be open. And it also works on a mobile device. So an Android or an iPhone, same app is visible and works and pretty much has the same functionality, but in a slightly different UI in mobile devices. I now have an Android, and I've actually loaded this in the Android. It works pretty good. It's, again, the real estate, you don't have a lot of real estate, but the functionality is there. So what are some of the big differences between the CRM app for Outlook and the legacy, older Outlook CRM client, the plugin? Well, to start with the new app, we currently can only track emails. We cannot track appointments, contacts, and tasks. Like I said, there are some new features coming up in the fall. The legacy app does not work in the web interface. The new CRM app does work in both the web interface and the thick Outlook clients. And then the big one is going offline. So the new CRM app for Outlook is online only. If I don't have an internet connection, the app doesn't load. While the legacy CRM client for Outlook does have an offline capable mode, meaning depending on the setup, I can go offline and create contacts, look at invoices, look at projects, etc. I define the rules, I define what goes offline. For that offline functionality, we still need the legacy client. And then there are a few more kind of advanced features that only the legacy app, the legacy CRM for Outlook supports, such as working with email templates, sales literature, sorting columns, or getting the actually viewing data, doing a mail merge. That if you need some of that advanced functionality, we still need the legacy CRM for Outlook plugin. So high level, some of the the big items is the legacy apps have been around since the 3.0 days. Microsoft has not announced any sunset dates, but we think it's coming sometime in the future. We think the focus now on the newer CRM web app. It's light, it's fast, it works on a browser or the Outlook client, and it's easy to deploy. It's not something we have to configure in each individual user's workstation. An admin can roll this out for everybody. So questions? Any questions about the Outlook CRM web app? It looks like we have a few questions here. So for the first one, I'm going from the bottom up. CRM App for Outlook works on the desktop client as well as the Mail app online, but the desktop must be in Outlook 2016. That is correct. Outlook must be 2016 to get the full feature set. If the Outlook on the workstation is 2013, the app will load, but in this legacy read-only mode. We can't create any leads or contacts. So we highly recommend loading only in Outlook 2016. How do ICV customizations in MS CRM Surface in the app? Currently they don't. So currently the CRM app is somewhat locked down. Let me rephrase that. It is very locked down. We cannot do ISV customizations in the CRM app. At some point in the future, we're not sure if it's going to be now in the fall or next year, we believe that's going to be changing. Since CRM allows customizations, Exchange allows customizations. So we think that's the future. But currently it is version 1, version 1.5. It is, there's still more features we'd love to have. Do we have an idea when the quote process will be available in the CRM app for Outlook? So the quote process is not available in the CRM app for Outlook. However, it is coming or might already be available in the mobile client. So there's the formerly known as the Mocha client. It is a thick client available in the Apple Store or the Android Google Play Store or the Microsoft Store if you still happen to have a Windows phone. It is still available there. You can download the app, talk to CRM. That app is also getting a brand new feature set. And I believe the quote process is coming for that app, both for tablets and phones. So it looks like some more audio issues. I see here that may have been resolved. And we have time for one more question here. Let's see, Serverside Sync. So Serverside Sync, I'm going to wait for that. We do have the next action right now about Serverside Sync and folder level tracking. And last question here.
One more question, Alex, here. There was one about earlier up about auto tracking. Does the Outlook app do that?
Oh, good question. So does the Outlook app do the auto tracking? So the app itself does not. However, Serverside Sync can do the auto tracking. So the ability to track all the emails. And in fact, you have somewhat control. You can even say, hey, I want to track all the emails if they're from these 4 companies, or define your Exchange rules using something called folder level tracking. And we'll go into a bit more detail right now. Great question for next segment. All right, so moving on to our last session. Serverside Sync, what is it? Why do we care about it? Should we use it? So Serverside Sync moves the work between synchronizing, your contacts, tasks, meetings from Outlook Exchange to CRM, and it moves that from Outlook to the server, to the back end. So now that work's being done server side behind the scenes. The big advantage is that it allows you to synchronize contacts or tasks from CRM to Outlook / Exchange without Outlook having to be running. So in my case, if I create a new contact in CRM, it appears in my phone. Since I own the contact, I create that in CRM, it goes to my phone. I also have a rule that says, hey, if a contact's created, it's related to a hosted CRM client. I also want to synchronize that contact. So that is a rule I created, and the contact synchronized behind the scenes via Serverside Sync. And Serverside Sync is also a requirement for the Outlook web app. And we're talking about synchronization. We're talking about synchronizing kind of 3 things: contacts, tasks, and appointments. So if a contact's created in CRM, when will it synchronize to your Outlook Exchange? If a task's created in CRM, maybe a workflow creates a task, hey, you must email this new lead material, blah. We can make that task synchronize to the Outlook CRM client, appear in your phone, in your webmail client, or in your thick client. You can close a task in any device, the phone, the Outlook client, the web interface, and that synchronizes back to CRM saying, hey, this task is now done. And then the same thing with appointments. This synchronization is what we can move from the thick Outlook clients to server side, to being done behind the scenes on a regular basis and in a way, a much more reliable basis. Outlook doesn't have to be running. Things are a lot more smooth behind the scenes. And Serverside Sync has actually been around for a couple of years. It was first released in 2013, version 1. And then in 2015, got a few more options. And then in CRM 2015 Update 1, they introduced folder level tracking. And that's when we, PowerObjects, began recommending Serverside Sync to all new clients. And now with CRM 2016, supports hybrid, meaning CRM can be in the cloud, Exchange on-prem, or vice versa. And again, even more stable. So a little bit more about this. The evolution, I'm going to kind of skip this. We'll have more time for questions. But 2013 was around, still didn't have a lot of functionality. And then CRM 2015, so last year, that's when enough features were introduced that was now on par with the Outlook clients. Features such as synchronizing all emails, synchronizing tasks that are signed in Outlook, the ability to synchronize attachments. If I have a meeting in CRM and it has an attachment, that attachment will be synchronized. And I have a link if you guys want more information about the synchronized fields or how to define them, since that is another option we now have. And then CRM 2015 Update 1, they've added a really neat feature. And this is probably my favorite feature from CRM 2015 because I think it's very, very useful. But it's the ability to do folder level tracking. And this feature comes from over the last couple of years, the way we use email has changed. Instead of us being in front of a thick client at all times, smartphones got released. So we're now using company email while standing in a supermarket line, waiting for the kids at a soccer game. So the ability to choose and to say, hey, this email is company related, I want to put it in CRM. We can now do that all from within our favorite email clients, whether using Google Mail, Outlook in an Android, or Eldora in some other mobile device, whatever your client is. This folder level tracking allows us to define folders, move the emails to these folders, and also define which folders go where. And we have a couple more screenshots on this in a little bit. So folder level tracking, what is it? Allows us to define folders in our inbox and then define where should the emails in those folders be tracked against. Meaning I can define company ABC and say any email in company ABC, go over to my CRM account called company ABC. Any emails that are drag and drop to lead 1, go over and track related to lead. Or maybe there's a big escalation related to some support issue. I can create a new folder and again define anything in this new folder, tracking CRM related to this specific support case. We define these rules on a per user basis. And the rules kick in however the email gets in the folders. Drag and drop from a phone, from Outlook, from web access. So a little more on setting this up. So A, I have to define the folders inside your inbox. They cannot be outside of your inbox. They got to be subfolders inside your inbox. Name them whatever we want to name them. ABC Company, Just Track It, etc. And then from within CRM is going to see those folders. And we'll be able to define, hey, this folder, simply tracking CRM. Or this folder, tracking CRM regarding this particular object. And this is what a screenshot looks like. So in this case, I can see that anything going to the folder ABC Company is being tracked against the account ABC Company. Anything against my super opportunity folder goes against my actual opportunity in CRM, called super duper sales. This is definable on a per user basis, meaning I can have my own folders, my own definition. The next user can have their own folders, their own definition. And I can also have a track all inbox. In this example, I call it just track it. And the way to define it, you select the folder in one side, have the arrow, but the arrow doesn't go into a specific object. It simply goes to CRM. So simply saying, hey, I'm going to track this email in CRM, but don't make it regarding an account, a lead, a project. Simply track it in CRM. So very easy to define, very easy for end users to pick how are they using Exchange email and getting those emails in CRM. Somebody asked a question about tracking our emails. So one option would be to create a rule. So hey, as soon as I get an email, copy it to this folder. And as soon as it's copied in there, it's tracked in CRM. So turning this on, there are 4 steps in enabling this functionality. These are not hard steps, but we also get about 1 ticket a month related to folder level synchronous tracking. So the first one, this feature has to be enabled. And we enable that in Systems, the Email tab, and a checkbox. Simply enable server level folder tracking. The second requirement is that Serverside Sync has to be enabled for this functionality to work. I can enable the functionality, but if folder level, if Serverside Sync is not enabled, it won't work. And then the third item is that the email boxes have to be set up for Serverside Sync, and the email has to be approved. That is a button we have to check. Either turn off requiring email approval, or select all mailbox, approve email. And then the last step, this is a step a lot of folks miss. Once everything's set up, emails are approved, Serverside Sync is ready to go, this feature is enabled, we must test and enable the mailboxes. So highlight them all, click the little test and enable. At that point, folder level track is now active. Users then can then define their folders, their tracking. And how do users define that? They define that by going to Settings, Options, and that's a personal option. It's a little hard to find this button. It's actually not a button. It's an underlined link. Should have been a button, but it's not. But users can go into Settings, Option, Email tab, single click on Configure Folder Tracking Rules. Now they get a window where on one side I see my folders inside my inbox, the little blue arrow, and then where it gets tracked to. And once users are shown where to configure that, it is very straightforward, very friendly. So a couple of tips, a little bit more information, that folders must be inside your inbox. You can have multiple folders going to the same record. And it's more for the folks that like working with folders. We have, even here at PowerObjects, we have some folks that just love folders. They have dozens and dozens of folders. So you can't say, hey, anything in folder A and folder B, track it against the same objects. Now, subfolders are not automatically included. Meaning if I have folder 1, inside folder 1 I have folder 2, if I want that subfolder to also go to CRM, I must specify that. It's not an automatic tracking. Third item, folders don't show up right away. There's a lag, and the lag is anywhere from half an hour to 1 hour, meaning I create a new folder, I won't see it in CRM for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. However, if you force a test, meaning force a mailbox test, it will refresh and show up right away. So for administrators, as you're testing, playing with this, if you want to see the new folder right away, force a mailbox test. And the sync behind the scenes occurs periodically. And I have another slide. We'll go a little bit more in depth on the sync timing. But again, if you want to force the sync right away, hey, go into my inbox, pick up the emails, track in CRM, again, click a test, a mailbox test. That will force a sync. There's a maximum of 25 mappings per user. This appears to be simply a UI limitation. But a user can have up to 25 mappings. If a mapping goes away, the trackings do not go away. Whatever is in CRM remains in CRM. The same thing with the emails. Once the email is tracked in CRM, I can delete from the folder, move it somewhere else. It will remain in CRM. And if you want to create a kind of a catch-all track inbox or a catch-all folder, simply define the folder in one side, leave the blue arrow in place, but don't have it going anywhere. That is a catch-all mailbox or folder that tracks email in CRM but doesn't relate to anything. And we can create these mappings to anything that can have an email related to. Projects, opportunities, custom entities, etc. And lastly, there's an SDK. So for large clients that want to roll out maybe a set of folders for everybody, we can programmatically do that with the SDK. It's actually somewhat straightforward. We might eventually create a tool that allows an admin to roll this out company-wide. But currently, it's simply code we have within Visual Studio that allows us to deploy this to a number of users. So what do we recommend? Just focus on the last two. So starting with CRM 2015 Update 1, we recommend Serverside Sync for inbound and outbound. Same thing with CRM 2016, same thing with the fall release. We believe the future is Serverside Sync. It now has pretty much all the features you may have needed from the Outlook client. Troubleshooting. So Serverside Sync does have an algorithm behind the scenes that starts off slow, depending on how much volume you have in your inbox, speeds up. And this actually ends up being a good thing. So the users that are active, that are receiving a lot of emails, they're going to think it's pretty close to instant. An email hits their inbox, maybe an Exchange rule drops in the right folder. By the time they check CRM, it's there. Now, a user with a low volume or a user that just sets this up, they might see a lag. The lag might start off being 30 minutes or 60 minutes. There's this black box behind the scenes that tries to tune the syncing time. So active mailboxes get touched with a much higher frequency than low volume mailboxes or mailboxes with errors. So for something, let's say you're using, something happens to an Exchange mailbox, it's now off for a little while. Or you deleted the user in your on-prem Active Directory that deactivated in Exchange Online. This back-off algorithm will keep checking less and less often, eventually will disable the mailbox, deactivates. Once the glitch is fixed, you can then go in and reactivate. So how do we know all that's happening? In CRM, we can now download the log files. So I can literally go into CRM, click on my mailbox, single click, download. It's called Download Mailbox Details, but it literally allows me to extract a log file with the Serverside Sync and the folder level tracking synchronization information. How often it's running, the last status code, etc. All times in a file are in UTC, but it allows for pretty good debugging information. And then lastly, there's also this, they call it a performance dashboard, but it's a really good overview of Serverside Sync, who has it active, any errors, the last sync, etc. What is the overall status of Serverside Sync and folder level tracking? So question, looks like we have a few questions here. All right. So let's start from the top. Let's see. So in regards to Serverside Sync, will it sync every email and contact with CRM if the app is installed? Or can we choose which email to track within CRM, similar to how the Outlook plugins allows you to do? And you can choose each one. So with the web app, I can single click on an email tracking CRM. That's option A. Or option B, using folder level tracking. Simply drag and drop in a specific folder. The email is now tracking CRM. So you have full control. Next question. We are currently using CRM for Outlook and can basically do everything in Outlook, see opportunities, leads, etc. Can you see and do that in Outlook using the Outlook app? And the answer is no, not yet. I believe that is coming. I don't know if it's coming now in the fall, in the spring, next year, but at some point I believe we will have that. Currently, you do need the legacy CRM for Outlook plugin. So why customize what is a cloud-based solution with regular updates from MS? Not quite sure I understand the question, but yeah, so currently we can't customize the CRM web app. Will CRM 2016 Outlook app work with Exchange 2013 on-prem or Outlook 2010? Good question. So 2010, no, out of the picture. With Exchange 2013 on-prem, the answer is yes, but in that read-only mode. So I wouldn't even attempt it. I would not use the Outlook web app unless you have Outlook 2016 and currently does require Exchange Online. There's a chance now in the fall we'll be able to use that with on-prem. If we're able to use that with on-prem, I'm not sure if the minimum version is going to be Exchange 2013 or the new version of Exchange. Is there a limit to the number of folders that can be used with folder level tracking? There is. That is 25 per user. Every user can have a max of 25 folders, and appears to be a UI limitation. Can we use CRM client for Outlook for customer service people in office and Serverside Sync for sales reps on the road? Great question. So the answer is actually yes, it does work. We have users doing that. But the official Microsoft answer is you shouldn't do that. According to the docs, we gotta either have Serverside Sync or the Outlook CRM clients. Everybody's gotta be using one or the other. But we have two clients I know of that are doing exactly what you mentioned, and things are humming along. No issues whatsoever. So my guess, there's some bug behind the scenes. Our clients haven't hit. Other clients I have spoken with have not. But that caused Microsoft's official documentation to say you got to pick one or the other. So with folder level tracking, aren't you going to build up tons of folders? For example, in Service, they would have to create a new email folder for every case. It's a good question. So what we've seen is you create folders for the kind of the critical cases. Unless you needed to track to be very specific, hey, this email against this specific case, this email against this specific case, we are not seeing that. We're seeing most users using this feature having maybe about a dozen folders and then rotating the folders. Once the big case is now closed, create the next folder, nuke my old folder, create my new mapping. But it depends how we're using. So we'll definitely have more folders than before. Now, a lot of our users already have a ton of folders. They just love folders. I used to have a ton of folders in my Outlook. I've now switched to a simple mechanism. I've unread and processed. So literally I have the two folders I work with, and then a handful of folders for the tracking in CRM. So in previous versions of MS CRM, the deployment advice I was given was not to enable tracking for all messages. Has this view changed given the scalability of the cloud? I would agree with you. I would not track all emails. It does add quite a bit of, not stress, but it does take away cycles from the environment. And you get a lot of emails that are not business related. Most of our clients, they have enabled the, hey, track everything, eventually go back and don't track everything. And now with the folder level tracking, you could define Exchange rules that are very specific. Track email, make a copy of the emails to these folders if the domain is blah, X, Y, and Z, or if it has a tracking token, or if it has maybe your case numbers have a certain prefix. So we can get very creative, and we have a lot of flexibility on choosing things to track. But I agree with you, we should not track all emails. So if I respond to an email within a tracked folder, is the sent email tracked automatically? So if you responded to an email from the tracked folder, out of the box, it's not. Now, can you create a rule that gets the email that you just sent, puts it in a folder that's now tracked in CRM, you could. So that would be one option. If you want your tracked reply to automatically be tracked in CRM, you do have to create a rule to place a copy of the email in a folder that is then tracked in CRM. So there's no set regarding functionality in the app, only folder level tracking where the user controls which emails will be tracked. I'm concerned that confidential emails between senior management, regional sales leaders will be tracked in CRM. Good question. So the one potential workaround, and we've done this for a couple of clients, is to create a delete or a plugin that runs in CRM when the email gets tracked. Now we can look at a couple of rules to see, should I delete this email? And this plugin can run on create, meaning the plugin's running before the email saves to disk. So in one particular client, we literally have a plugin that looks, is the from and the to an employee, and are they in these business units? We define the rule since it's custom code. But basically to have a rule that we can run our code that then defines, could this be a confidential email that we now want to remove from CRM? We've probably done a flavor of this plugin in 2 or 3 different occasions. So next one, silly question, or let's see, but does the server-side tracking track every email, or can the user select? The user can select with the inbox tracking, or even with the web app. I do have a button track in CRM. So next question. Does photo level tracking work with CRM 2016 on-prem and Outlook on the desktop, but Exchange has to be the online version? That is correct. So CRM 2016 on-prem, Exchange online, fully supported. There's a good chance now in the fall, having Exchange on-prem and the CRM on-prem will be supported. But currently, if your CRM is on-prem, and Exchange is in a cloud, it is supported, and it does work. So what are the real benefits of the new app when it clearly has a reduced feature set? That is correct. It does have a reduced feature set. The benefits rolling out to 1,000 users is a handful of clicks. It's faster than the legacy Outlook CRM clients, and is much more robust, meaning it can't go away with a crash, unlike the old legacy Outlook CRM clients. Since it's a web-based application, it's there, it's installed. It doesn't go away, it doesn't deactivate itself, but it does have these reduced feature sets. So next question, if an email is tracked, is the reply tracked with Serverside Sync without folder mappings? So good question. So the reply tracked without folder mapping. It is tracked automatically if we have actually, to reliably track, you do need a inbox folder tracking. But you can create a rule in Outlook, a very simple rule, simply saying, hey, if the subject line has our tracking code, move it to this folder. That guarantees 100% the email will be tracked, the reply back. The other way, which is supposed to work, we can do the smart matching. But the smart match is not too smart. Eventually you will become a little dumb and it's going to miss. While folder level tracking always works. So does that mean that every time you want to track an email on a specific account, opportunity contact, the user has to create a folder and set up folder level tracking? That's option A. Option B is using the web app. But that is correct. So if you're using folder level tracking, it is one folder per specific object or a generic one. Saying, hey, track in CRM, maybe at a later time I go in and define where that should be related to. So apologize, folks. We are running on top of the hour. We have 1 more minute left and looks like a handful of questions. If I did not get to a question, go ahead and email us. We'll take 2 minutes, a couple hours, and reply to any question we get from you guys over the next couple days. Appreciate everybody joining. Good turnout. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Cecily, for your time and your presentation today. Yeah, we will have a record of all the questions that are asked. So if we didn't get to anything, please do enter it, and we'll make sure that that Alex and Cecily do see those afterwards. So I'll leave the session open here, but we will end the recording there. So thank you very much, Alex. Thanks very much, Cecily, for your time. And thanks everyone in the audience. Have a great day. One other note, please do look for the survey that will pop up after you close out today. We really appreciate any feedback.